Hello. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy you are. What's your name?
My name's Jane. When I sing, I go by Nightbirde.
Oh, that's nice.
Nightbirde?
That's right.
Did you sing? Do you sing for a living?
Not recently.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zanesville, Ohio.
Okay.
When Jane Marcheski stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage in June 2021, nobody could have predicted that her 3-minute audition would become one of the most viewed and emotionally powerful moments in the show's history, touching over 200 million hearts worldwide. What happened next would bring Simon Cowell to tears, spark a global movement of hope, and leave a legacy that continues to inspire millions even years after her tragic passing. This is the incredible, heartbreaking, and ultimately triumphant story of the woman the world came to know as Nightbirde. There are moments in television history that transcend entertainment and become something far more profound, and Nightbirde's appearance on America's Got Talent was undeniably one of those moments. This 30-year-old singer-songwriter from Zanesville, Ohio, possessed an undeniable force that radiated from within, a magnetic presence that seemed to glow even as she faced the darkest battle of her life. Despite facing unimaginable obstacles, criticism from those who didn't understand her journey, and a diagnosis that would have broken most people's spirits, Jane refused to let cancer define her story. She had started songwriting at just 6 years old, helping her mother finish lyrics, and music had always been her sanctuary, her way of making sense of the world. Her stage name, Nightbirde, had originated during a particularly dark period after moving to Nashville in 2015, a time when cancer was first diagnosed and when her husband asked for a divorce, leaving her to fight her battles alone. But even in that darkness, she found a way to sing. Join us as we tell you what really happened to Nightbirde from America's Got Talent, a story that will remind you why hope matters, why dreams are worth fighting for, and why sometimes the bravest thing we can do is simply choose to be happy despite everything life throws at us. The atmosphere in the audition room shifts the moment Jane walks onto the stage. She's wearing a simple outfit, her smile warm, but carrying the weight of someone who has seen too much pain for her young age. The judges, Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, Heidi Klum, and Sofia Vergara, settle into their seats, ready for another hopeful performer. Terry Crews, the show's host, stands nearby, watching with interest. When asked to introduce herself, Jane's voice is steady as she shares her stage name, Nightbirde, and reveals she's from Ohio. There's an immediate warmth to her, a genuine quality that cuts through the usual audition nerves. But then comes the moment that changes everything. With devastating honesty, she tells the judges about her cancer, how it has spread to her lungs, spine, and liver. The room falls silent. You can hear the collective intake of breath from the audience. Some people gasp. Others reach for tissues already. She pauses, letting the weight of those words settle before delivering what would become one of the most quoted lines in America's Got Talent history. "Last time I checked, I had some cancer in my lungs, my spine, and my liver," she says with remarkable composure, almost casually, as if discussing the weather. Then she adds with quiet strength, "It's important that everyone knows I'm so much more than the bad things that happened to me." The judges exchange glances, clearly moved even before she's sung a single note. Simon Cowell leans forward in his chair, his usually stoic expression already softening. When Jane mentions she'll be performing an original song called "It's Okay," there's a sense of anticipation mixed with heartbreak hanging in the air. What kind of song does someone write when they're facing a 2% chance of survival? The music begins, soft piano notes filling the space, and Jane's voice emerges like honey poured over broken glass, sweet and smooth, yet carrying the sharp edges of pain lived through. She sings about it being okay even when it's not, about finding light in the darkest nights, about choosing joy despite circumstances that would justify despair. Her voice swells and dips, carrying emotion that no acting could replicate because it's real, it's lived. It's the sound of someone who has cried these lyrics in the middle of the night when nobody was watching. The audience sits transfixed, many openly weeping. Camera phones light up as people record, wanting to capture this moment, sensing they're witnessing something extraordinary. On the judges' panel, tears stream down faces. Sofia Vergara's hand covers her mouth. Heidi Klum wipes at her eyes repeatedly. Howie Mandel sits perfectly still, completely absorbed. And Simon Cowell, the judge known for his harsh critiques and stoic demeanor, has tears glistening in his eyes. As the final note fades, there's a moment of profound silence. That sacred pause when something beautiful has just happened, and nobody wants to break the spell. Then the room erupts. The audience leaps to their feet in a thunderous standing ovation. People are clapping, crying, cheering all at once. The judges rise from their seats, applauding with genuine enthusiasm. Nightbirde stands there, almost disbelieving, her own eyes filling with tears as the love washes over her. Howie Mandel speaks first, his voice thick with emotion as he declares, "That felt like the most authentic thing I've heard this season." Heidi Klum adds that the performance gave her chills, her voice barely steady. Sofia Vergara struggles to find words adequate to express what everyone felt. Then Simon Cowell begins to speak, and there's a playful glint in his eye as he says something that makes Nightbirde's face fall slightly. "I'm not going to give you a yes," he begins, and for a split second, confusion ripples through the crowd. But before anyone can process those words, his hand slams down on the golden buzzer. Golden confetti explodes from above, raining down like manufactured joy, and Nightbirde's face transforms into pure shock and overwhelming emotion. She covers her face with her hands, unable to comprehend what's happening. The other judges rush to embrace her as she sobs, years of pain and hope and gratitude pouring out. Simon walks onto the stage himself, something he rarely does, to personally congratulate her. Terry Crews joins the celebration, the entire room unified in this moment of pure human connection. The emotional aftermath is overwhelming. Nightbirde is surrounded by love, hugged by judges and crew members, golden confetti clinging to her hair and clothes like a promise. When she's finally able to speak, she thanks everyone through tears, her voice breaking with the magnitude of the moment. By the next morning, her song It's Okay has shot to #1 on iTunes and is trending at #2 on YouTube. Social media explodes with reactions. Twitter users declare it the most moving audition they've ever seen. Instagram comments flood in by the thousands, people sharing their own stories of hardship and how her words gave them hope. News outlets pick up the story, and suddenly Nightbirde isn't just an AGT contestant, she's a symbol of resilience for millions around the world. Her message resonates because it's not toxic positivity or blind optimism, it's the hard-won wisdom of someone who has every reason to give up but chooses not to. But the journey was far from over, and what came next would test everything she believed about hope and perseverance. Behind the scenes, what America's Got Talent didn't show was the full extent of Nightbirde's battle. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2017 when she was just 25 years old. After aggressive treatment, she was declared cancer-free in July 2018, and for a brief moment, she could breathe again, could dream again. But cancer is a cruel adversary. It returned in 2019, and this time doctors gave her 3 to 6 months to live. Against all odds, she fought back and was declared cancer-free again in 2020. It was during this roller coaster of hope and devastation that her personal life also crumbled. Her husband asked for a divorce while she was fighting for her life, adding emotional devastation to her physical battle. She moved to Los Angeles in 2020 to pursue clinical treatment, staying with one of her brothers, essentially, starting her life over, while her body waged war against itself. When she auditioned for America's Got Talent, she was in the midst of another recurrence. The cancer had metastasized, spreading to her lungs, spine, and liver. Doctors told her she had only a 2% chance of survival. 2%. Most people would have given up, would have spent whatever time remained in quiet resignation. But Jane Marchevsky was not most people. She later explained in interviews that when she wrote It's Okay, it was in the middle of the night for herself, when she desperately needed those words. I needed to hear that it was. Okay, she would say. I needed to believe that I was more than what was happening to me. Her decision to audition for America's Got Talent while gravely ill was controversial to some. Online critics questioned whether she was exploiting her illness for sympathy votes. Others worried she was pushing herself too hard, that the stress of competition would worsen her condition. There were doubters who suggested her golden buzzer was about her story rather than her talent, unable to see that both were inseparably intertwined. That music was powerful precisely because it came from such a deep well of lived experience. Nightbirde saw these comments, but remained focused on her mission. She wanted to share her music, to give others the hope she had found in her darkest hours. Friends and family supported her, knowing that purpose and passion were medicine for the soul, even if they couldn't heal the body. She proved her critics wrong simply by existing as herself. Authentic and unfiltered and devastatingly beautiful in her vulnerability. After her golden buzzer moment, anticipation built for Nightbirde's return in the live shows. Fans couldn't wait to see what she would perform next. What other original songs she had written in those dark midnights of the soul. But as the quarterfinals approached in August 2021, Nightbirde made one of the hardest decisions of her life. Her health had taken a dramatic turn for the worse. The cancer was progressing despite treatment. Her doctors made it clear that the stress and physical demands of the competition could be dangerous. And so, with a broken heart but clear mind, she withdrew from America's Got Talent. The announcement devastated fans worldwide. Social media erupted with messages of support, people begging her to focus on her health, assuring her that she had already won in ways that mattered more than any competition. Simon Cowell personally reached out to her, telling her firmly, "You don't need the stress right now," making it clear that her well-being was infinitely more important than the show. But the America's Got Talent producers wanted to give Nightbirde one more moment, and during the live quarterfinals in August, she appeared via remote broadcast. Terry Crews introduced her with obvious emotion, his voice catching as he recapped her journey. When her face appeared on the screen, she looked tired, but her smile was genuine. Crews delivered news that stunned even Nightbirde herself. First of all, Nightbirde, your golden buzzer performance has now been seen over 200 million times, he announced in amazement. Her jaw dropped, hand flying to her mouth in disbelief. 200 million people had witnessed her 3 minutes of vulnerability and chosen to watch, to listen, to feel. When asked if she ever imagined her song would have such impact, Nightbirde shook her head, tear already forming. "There's no way I would have ever imagined that," she admitted. "It's a song I wrote for myself in the middle of the night when I needed those words so bad. And it's beautiful to see the world welcome that song into their own dark night, and I'm overwhelmed by it." The judges each took their turn speaking to her, their love and concern evident in every word. Sofia Vergara thanked her for touching their hearts with her song and her spirit. Howie Mandel praised her impact on the world. Then it was Simon Cowell's turn, and he could barely hold himself together. His voice cracked as he addressed her by her real name. "Hello, Jane," he began, emotion making his usually crisp British accent waver. "We've spoken a few times, and look, you know you made the decision, rightly so, that your health is your priority right now, and I know that the last time we spoke, you actually said you feel like you let people down." He paused, composing himself. "I just want to say on behalf of all of us, you haven't let anyone down. Even though you haven't competed, you've already won." The camera caught, tears streaming down his face as he continued, "Your clip has had such an impact on so many people, and your courage and who you are, we love you." Nightbirde herself was crying openly now, overwhelmed by the outpouring of love. She thanked them all, her voice breaking as she said, "I think we're witnessing such a beautiful picture of the human spirit and the triumph of the human spirit, and it has restored my faith in humanity a whole lot. To see people come together just over the fact that we all hurt, we all suffer, and we all have the potential to overcome." It was the last time most of the world would see Nightbirde alive. Jane Marchowski continued fighting her battle privately, surrounded by her loving family in San Clemente, California. She continued to give health updates on social media and to CNN, her optimism never fully dimming even as her body weakened. She held on to that 2% chance with both hands, reminding everyone who would listen that 2% is not 0%. 2% is something, and I wish people knew how amazing it is. On February 19, 2022, at just 31 years old, Nightbirde passed away, surrounded by her family who had supported her through every up and down of her 4-year battle. The news broke hearts around the world. Simon Cowell posted on Twitter, "Heartbreaking news to hear about it. Underscore Nightbirde, she was an extraordinary person. So brave, so talented. She made a huge impact on ACT and the world. Her determination to fight this terrible illness was remarkable. Rest in peace, Jane. I am sending my love to her family." Other judges posted their tributes, each one grief-stricken by the loss of someone who had touched their lives so profoundly in such a brief time. But Nightbirde's story doesn't end with her death. Her family, knowing how much her music meant to her and to the world, created the Nightbirde Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to encouraging and supporting women battling breast cancer. On February 19, 2023, exactly 1 year after her passing, they released her debut album titled It's Okay, a collection of 10 tracks that Jane had been working on before her death. Her brother Mitch explained that the idea came from Jane herself, that she had started putting songs together while still alive. The process of putting all this stuff together, honestly, was probably more painful than anything else. He admitted to NBC, the grief of going through her work while mourning her loss almost unbearable. 3 years after her death, in February 2025, a second posthumous album called Still Got Dreams was released, featuring 12 tracks including original songs and ethically produced AI vocals to honor her musical vision. The title track featured a collaboration with the Mzansi Youth Choir for ACT Season 18, creating a beautiful full-circle moment. America's Got Talent has honored Nightbirde multiple times since her passing. During ACT Extreme, they displayed a memorial title card reading in memory of Jane Nightbirde Marcheski. In Season 17, the Lebanese female dance troupe the Maya honored her during their audition with It's Okay play in the background, and they went on to win the entire season after receiving a golden buzzer from Sofia Vergara. But perhaps the most moving tribute came during Season 18 when the Mzansi Youth Choir from South Africa performed an uplifting rendition of It's Okay that earned them the show's first ever audience golden buzzer. Simon Cowell broke down completely, tears streaming as Sofia rubbed his shoulder in support. "This brought back so many memories for me," he managed to say through his emotion. "I know how much this would have meant to her." Right until the end, she was so passionate about sharing her music. This has gone all over the world, and you've come back here with the most amazing tribute. It was just breathtaking, honestly. Her Instagram account, managed by her family, continues to share her message with nearly 1 million followers, keeping her spirit alive in the digital world. Nightbirde's legacy extends far beyond her 3 minutes on a talent show stage. She proved that talent combined with determination, vulnerability, and authentic hope can overcome any obstacle, even death itself. Her songs continue to provide comfort to people facing their own dark nights. Her words, "You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy," have become a mantra for those struggling with illness, loss, heartbreak, and despair. She showed the world that a 2% chance is still a chance worth fighting for, that being more than the bad things that happen to us is a choice we can make every single day. What do you think about Nightbirde's incredible journey? How has her story and music impacted your own life? Let us know in the comments below. Which other talent show contestant's journey should we cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story of courage, talent, and the unbreakable human spirit. As for Nightbirde, her story is far from over. Her music continues to spread around the world. Her foundation continues to help women fighting breast cancer. And her message of hope continues to light up dark nights for millions who need it. Jane Marcheski may have lost her battle with cancer, but she won something far more important. She won the hearts of the